Everyone who knows my next guest will always say, isn't he a father of two girls, six dogs, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, and married to a superwoman? Well, yes, that is how you would describe Avi. Some will say, isn't he the guy who has a hotline to Gary Vee and some of the biggest names in the business? Some ask if he's the extraordinary digital marketer and also the master of micro videos. Well, the answer is yes to each and every one of those questions. However, apart from all those things, he's also a good friend, a fellow coach, and above all, a great human being who touches the lives of whoever he meets in a positive way. Watch this episode with Avi Arya and you'll see what I mean for yourself. Have you ever been knocked down and found it hard to get up? Have you ever been knocked down and bounced back to come back even stronger? Hi, I'm Gaurav Bhagat and you can call me GB. And welcome to the Smashed Bashed Yet Not Dashed podcast. A fortnightly podcast where I speak about persistence, perseverance, and overcoming the odds to come out ahead. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the Smashed Bashed Yet Not Dashed podcast, the podcast that has exceptional conversation, exceptional people. And today I'm proud to host yet another exceptional person. My guest today was bullied, he was beaten, he did some beating of his own along the way as well. And today inspires millions in India and around the world using the power of video and digital like no other. A father of two girls, six dogs, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, and married to a superwoman. Welcome, Avi. How are you, my friend?
Thank you, Gaurav. That was fantastic. I love that. I'm doing fantastic. I think it's the best time to be alive, and I feel fantastic as I'm exactly 30 days from my 45th birthday.
Love that. And interestingly, I think you left India. It was maybe like 19 months ago before the pandemic hit, and you still continue to be in Vancouver. It must be well after 11:30 p.m. for you today. So I appreciate you being on the podcast today. First up.
No, anything for you. Firstly, I would wake up at any time of the morning or evening for you. But 12 midnight is, I've got bad time management. So I sleep late, I get up early because I have to manage my office in India. And I've left in July. And
Right.
so July to now, yeah, I've been away.
Okay, about 15 months now. Wow.
Yeah.
So, brand Avi Arya, it's on fire at the moment. I mean, you've built a community with lakhs of people on it. You run multiple businesses, all clocking several $1 million of top line now. You're followed by the likes of Grant Cardone and Gary Vee, just to name a few people. So, truly come a long way. But it wasn't always like this. So interestingly, we went to the same college. And I remember you being the real wild child, hanging out with the Pavans and the Gauravs outside Bhagat Singh, more time spent outside college than inside college. Talk us through some of those days as well.
Many of my friends who happen to now be living in Canada, who were my college and school friends, and we live like 5 minutes from each other. We're just so blessed to have some good friends here.
Mm-hmm.
They insist on telling me, and they're all, by the grace of God, some of these people are really successful. And we talk about stocks and we talk about real estate. Oh, I wish I'd bought that property on the water. And I wish I'd, they're like, you know what? We wasted those 5 years in Bhagat Singh. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you can never convince me of that. Those were the best years of my life. Because I remember there's one thing I've never said on any podcast. My dad had gone through a family separation with his extended family. Lots of drama had happened. So, we had sold the house. We had no house, rented house, and no car. Sold both cars. Took my grandfather, who was an army officer, his old car. So my dad was starting from scratch. He was never unhappy or told me that life is rubbish or whatever. So the situation was not gloomy at home, but still we knew that we don't have a big house anymore, and we can't all of that. So dad and mom used to have conversations in that new apartment we had shifted to, rented apartment. Should we send Abhi to modern school or do we have to pull him out because modern school has a high fee? That we had gone to that situation.
Damn.
Now here comes a boy who comes and says, "Dad, मुझे घुंगरू की membership चाहिए." So my dad is like, my mom is like, "Are you crazy? Do you know what we are going through?" I'm like, I'm just asking you. I mean, mana kar do. Gaurav, at that time, it was 35,000 rupees. and we had spoken to some people who said we'll get it done. That was like it was not even like a platinum card. It was like having
Yeah.
dinner with Ronaldo. I don't know. It was
Of
like the
course.
golden
Of
NFT
course.
that everybody wants.
100%.
I remember my dad's answer. He told my
Mhm.
mom, he said, hang on. My mom went off. How can you talk like this? You're the eldest son. You're irresponsible. You know what we're going through in life.
Mhm.
My dad said, hang on. I remember that conversation as if it happened yesterday. He said, hang on. He said, our situation will go up and down in life. It'll get okay. But his youth will never come back. He said, Avi, I'll get you the
Wow.
check next Saturday.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
till date, I've had so many conversations with my dad when I've hugged him and I'd said, thank you for that check. And he's
Yeah.
like, I don't even remember what you're talking about. But
Mhm.
I was like, that changed my life because 5 years I met
Yeah.
the most interesting people from different. It was like going to another school. And it was, like there were only 350 people in India in Delhi who used to party, and everybody knew
True
each
that.
other. There was lots of,
Very true.
camaraderie, brotherhood, and all of that. So
Right.
those were the best years. We used to go, yes, we used to hop by Bhagat Singh just to see what's happening outside.
Mhm.
And that
Mhm.
was all that college had. So I don't regret that at all because life is not
Yeah.
supposed to be. Yes, maybe
Yeah.
I'd worked 5 years and maybe I would have been like some of my friends in McKinsey's or Deloitte, or I would have made some more money, had some better investments and all of that. But
Yeah.
I would have liked that life as well. But I don't think I would have traded it for what I got. No way. Nobody in this, nobody. I mean, you and I know those experiences when we share with people, people have not had that kind of a life. So that was the
100%.
best 5 years of my life.
Of course, and I totally agree. And interestingly, even at that time, I was at the cusp of big changes in my life as well. I mean, we'd come from a very well-to-do family, and my dad, and again, talk about coincidence, had a bit of a crisis himself. And for us, it was about traveling the world, and of course, Oasis and Ghungroos were the the happening places, and we were always there. And then from there to come home one day and figure out that we were busted and everything's gone, you know, life-changing moments. But I think perhaps maybe in some of those instances and in those moments are what define us today and what we've also become in due course. So that is my belief, and thank you so much for
100%.
sharing that one as well. But you weren't always the rebel without a cause, right? When you were younger, maybe in your preteens, I think 10, 11, 12, and we've spoken about this once or twice before, you were overweight, you used to stammer, and kids love a soft target. Okay, we've all been
100%.
there. We've done a bit of bullying ourselves as well. So obviously you're being picked on by people in your school as well. Tell me about those times as well, because that couldn't have been easy at
No,
all.
so I was extremely overweight, and and I used to stammer a lot, and then my mom used to take me for therapy. So the stammering went out of the equation faster than because I was like, I can't deal with so much pressure. I need to fix one thing. So one thing,
Yeah.
I think got fixed in time, but the weight
Mhm.
problem would just not go, and it's it was I love people. I love talking. I love telling stories. And the thing was that everybody, whenever I told a story, the first thing that they would see as me was, oh, ye to mota hai. And I was like, at least listen to me, dude. I want to talk. I want to connect with another person. Why is that always coming in my way? So it was nothing short of non-stop, never-ending torture for the longest time in my life. And then when I was approaching my 12th grade and whatever, then I started getting into working out and all of that. And then total transformation happened in 3 4 months because you lose weight faster when you're younger, whatever.
Mhm.
Total transformation happened, and my gym became my best friend. And
Yeah.
anybody, my criteria of a good friend was somebody who had 16.5 inches biceps,
Mhm.
and that's it.
Mhm.
So jo bhi tha, it could be a somebody from a Gujar village who was, and I would
Yeah.
go there and have lassi with his house, or
Yeah.
it could be somebody else who's living wherever. But I was only surrounding myself with people who were big and got up at 4 in the morning, slept on time, had proteins, all of that. So
Mm.
I that became my thing in college. But with
Right.
that I got aggressive and I started getting into fights because when you're big and you're working out and all of that.
Yeah.
So then I got into a little bit of that, which uh, which could have taken me down a very wrong path. But
True that.
I always had very good friends, like most of them. So I had very good
Mhm.
friends.
Mhm.
And whenever we made a mistake or said something wrong to somebody and we were mean
Yeah.
to somebody in our
Yeah.
words, we
Yeah.
felt bad the next day, and we many times we drove down, and there were no
Right.
phones at that time to go down and
Yeah.
told the people, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude, I shouldn't have done that and all of that.
Mm.
So So I think I had very good friends who didn't let me become a bad person permanently. I did was a
Right.
bad person in between, did some make
Yeah.
some mistakes,
Yeah. Yeah.
regret some of those things that I've said to some people a lot. But I know I'll never say that again. But I also know that it didn't define me for more than just that duration of time.
I get that. Yeah, amazing. From going from someone who was actually struggling with stammering today, a global speaker, speaking on some of the biggest stages in the world, sharing that stage with some of the most exceptional people. So, kudos on that one. And also, I think where you mentioned that, yes, you were picked on, yes, you were bullied. And, maybe, like I said, you did some of, your hitting back of your own, but you realize that this is also a path that is not right. And the world is a better place for that as well. This is, of course, the Smash Bash, Yet Not Dashed podcast. So we talk about a lot of those Smash Bash moments. And first of all, thank you for just being so candid and sharing. Really appreciate that. I'll take you back to another Smash Bash moment. March 2020, you're running Internet Moguls, 225 employees or more on the rolls, and then lockdown happens. And now Internet Moguls as a company, for those of our listeners who didn't know this, has a lot of hospitality clients. I think hotels have been something very dear to your heart, and you've been able to really scale in that space. And we all know what happened to the hospitality industry immediately in the aftermath and also since. So I'm sure many of those contracts got affected. I'm sure it was really, really stressful. So talk us through some of those times as well.
So Gaurav, I remember, I was in my office, and I was. We used to play our video games in the office. We had those, retro games and everything. So, and I was like not in the mood for working. I've created my office with that kind of a, vibe, so I can go there when I'm feeling stressed. So I was in that mood of not working and doing something, and then all of a sudden my teams are coming in and saying, "We're hearing this, we're hearing that, that's happening." So, we should talk about it next week. Now I'm on my verge of leaving the office, going playing some video games, and I'm like, what are these guys talking about? And if this is true, we cannot discuss this next week. This has to be discussed right now. So around 8 o'clock, when the entire team is leaving, I told all of them, "You can't leave." Nobody was happy. I said, "No, you can't leave. Everybody come into my cabin. Let's order some
Mhm.
fresh hot tea, and let's
Mhm.
start making calls to other friends and other companies. What is happening and all of that." So people said, "Prepare for the worst. Send your teams home and all of that." I said, if I send my teams home, who's going to take care of the client? They said, "No, there are no clients. Clients are sending their people home." But what about our monthly retainers if they're going home?
Mhm.
But at least those are coming, right? I said,
Mhm.
what are you talking about monthly retainers? You'd first tell us about our salaries. So I'm like, I don't know about your salaries till the monthly. Let's just figure it out. So those few hours were nerve wracking. I called some of my best friends. I called my dad and everybody. And, like I said, I'm surrounded by people who never let me crash and burn. So we figured it out. Then, but we left the office at 12:31 at night with a plan to say, let's start sending. Half of the people have laptops, half of them had desktops. People
Right.
who had desktop, we called people and said, ट्रक में डालो लैपटॉप, इनके सबके एड्रेस लिखो, सबका प्रिंट आउट
Mhm.
निकाला एक्सेल में, सबके घरों में डेस्कटॉप इंस्टॉल करके आओ, so that they have a place to work from at home. So
Right.
घर, बट व्हाट अबाउट द पीपल जिन्होंने अपने घर जाना है? अच्छा यार, तू अपना
Mhm.
लैपटॉप उसको दे दे, तू इसका डेस्कटॉप ले दे, यूर अ दिल्ली गाय, दैट गाय इज फ्रॉम अनदर सिटी. सो ऑल दैट ड्रामा टुक, आई थॉट इट
Wow.
हैपन इन 24 hours, रात को करेंगे. We created system checklist and all of that. And when I went home at 1 o'clock, I called at 4 o'clock, I realized the whole system has crashed. They don't know how to manage all of this.
Mhm.
So it took 1 week for that system to happen. So we were able to map who's got which system, who's going where, what is happening, and all of that. So within 1 week, at least we were still 1 week ahead of, I think, when Kejriwal and all these people made a Delhi lockdown announcement. We were 1 week ahead of time, and we had done
Wow.
everything, sent people home. So that way I was okay, that the team is taken care of and the work will happen on time and all of that, and nobody's going to get sick. But my
Correct.
problem was what's going to happen to the monthly retainers. So we work
Yeah.
with, at that point in time, about 400 plus monthly retainers had to come in every month. From a check
Right.
of 10,000 rupees for a software to 1.5 lakh rupees for a retainer, then lots of
Correct.
invoices that go out and negotiations.
Correct.
What's going to happen? It's like, how can you even talk to a client like that at that time? I said, I cannot not talk to a client. So we said 10 of our biggest clients. Some of them were in Delhi, some were happening to visit Delhi. And I went with my core team and I went to their offices. And they said, see, here's the situation.
Mhm.
Retainer slashed by 50% as from right now.
Right.
And we're not going to pay you for the next 2 months as well. And this is the situation today. Nothing is going to change. I said, what about the next 2 months? I have so much to. He said, no, this is what's going to happen. That's fast changed because that 50% became 75% in the next 2 weeks because their like situation deteriorate. So I came back to the office saying, what should I do? Should we tell people to leave? Should we fire them? Should we do 50% off? Should we do 75% off? Should we do zero? So we that again sat down with the core team and said, what should we do? So they said there are some people who in our office who live month to month. They don't have the buffer. So then we had to create a separate, there was no blanket rule. We had to create separate rules for people. Like, you know what, you actually are okay. You're sitting at home, right? So you take 50% off. The other person like, isko pure paise de do. That guy is only taking 25,000. He has to get his full money. So we'll all have to compromise. So these were not easy conversations to have. My God, you know, you see the true nature of people when they're put through adversity. I love my team for all the support that they gave, but I also saw a side of people which were everybody for themselves. It had become like that. So to go through that was the biggest learning experience of my life. That, you know, you always have to have cash buffers, and at the same time, your credit in the market is not your cash that you can use. I had so much money in the market, I had no issue. I was like, I'm sorted. I've got enough money for the next few years. But that money instantly was blocked. So I was like, where is that money? I was banking on that money that's not coming in. So that was another learning lesson. And I remember, Gaurav, I came back. So coming back to that first day when we finished, the very next day, I was like, I don't know what to do. So, and I was parallelly trying to spend more time with my family and kids. So therefore, I was trying to take everything online. So I was doing lots of webinars. Once a week, I would do a webinar of 500 people and sell a small 7,000 rupee program. And, oh, wow, this webinar thing is growing good and all of that. When this COVID hit the very next day, I wanted to just talk to people because I was full of so many emotions. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to talk to people. And when you talk to people, you inspire people, you get inspired on your own. And all of us, you and me, all our speakers, we all know that we are all doing it for ourselves. You know, people say, wow, aapne mere ko inspire kiya, main apne liye kar raha hu. And thank you for getting inspired in the process. So I went online, and that day 700-800 or maybe 1,000 people came. And that was, we just started the ad 2-3 hours ago. Normally we take a week to get 700 people. It just showed that the market is dead. They wanted people, everybody is home and they wanted to talk. That webinar, we had a sale of some 5-6 lakh rupees. I was like, what the hell is this happening? Now I can take care of my entire company with this money. After that day, 75 days, 75 webinars, we didn't stop, non-stop. There were days we were doing 3 webinars. So I think we did over 2.5, 2.2, 2.5 crores in revenue in 75 days just from this new source, complete new source. So that sort of, and now 15 months or 18 months later, that is another business on its own. It's got its own team. It's got its own co-founders. It's got its own this thing. It's taken off a life of its own. So yeah, so you know, because everybody was saying, don't waste a good pandemic. These are opportunities. So I was somewhere, I didn't know what I was to be doing, but when I'm watching Gary Vee, I'm watching all of these people, they're saying, this is the time to show your right values, your ethic, where you're saying, save the money, don't give it to anybody. Tell your vendors, I'll pay you after 6 months. You want, honestly, that's what you want to do. But you're like, no, don't do that. That's not the right way of doing it. This is not correct. So you have two voices inside of you. Should I take care of myself and say, you know what, everybody for himself? Or should I balance it? So honestly, we balanced it. We tried to balance it so that I also survive and everybody survives. And we came out of this, like I was telling you in the beginning of our conversation, came out of this, you know, with flying colors. We'll be, you know, we're almost about 80, 65, 70% back. By March, we'll be 100% back with way more profitability than we've ever seen in 12 years. And we have a training and coaching business where we're training and coaching entrepreneurs and coaches and, you know, small and medium-sized businesses as a full-time thing on the Internet Moguls of the World School. So, but I'm not taking a day off. It took that. It had to take that. I could not take a few days off for this to happen. A new business with total uncertainty with lots of hope, and an old business which has got 12 years, which I know if I'm able to survive through this period will come back because hospitality industry knows me very well, and they will come back jumping to me. 100%. If only I can hold on. But how long do I have to hold on? How much of my own money am I ready to put in to hold on, to earn it back versus this new? So it's been a beautiful story of juggle. And another 1 year, I'll be able to see everything clearly, and I'll be proud. The first thing I told my dad, I said, I want to be proud of myself this time. I've been proud of my dad. I've been proud of everybody. But this time, with everybody's experience, I think every COVID warrior, like you, Gaurav, you have such a large company and so many people. I think we all need to be proud of ourselves once we see, once the sun is back up.
Right. True that. No, and thank you for sharing. And again, I think one thing I've really admired about you is that you've always had a lot of foresight and you've always been able to anticipate situations way before they happen. I mean, here's a prime example where the lockdowns were coming. Everyone else struggled. They had no option. Lockdown came and then they had no option, but they were sitting at home because they had nothing. They had no access to computers. They were everywhere saying laptop bhej do, ye kar do. But you'd actually done that a week, 10 days before. You were already engaging in conversation, with your customers, with your clients. So that's fantastic. And I think, I mean, you've truly been ahead of your time, be it, in terms of coming, with the books, with the entire, digital marketing ecosystem. I mean, you were crushing webinars before some of us even knew what Zoom was, right? And of course, today, so many conversations are happening on this forum, but I think, that's exceptional. Tell me about, even this time period. Of course, you've seen a lot of your contemporaries, a lot of agencies, a lot of your competitors who've also kind of gone out of business. What really do you think has been the difference between, those that are going to see this one through, come through? And of course, we're seeing this in the gifting space as well, where I also run a company. We've of course seen this in the coaching space as well, where a lot of people have dropped off, who were there before the pandemic, and today they're nowhere to be heard of. Even the gifting space. I mean, the other day I was having a conversation with someone, and they're like, 50% of the companies are gone. What is it that you've seen in your space, and what are some of the differentiators that you think are setting those that are prospering and thriving from those that have crumbled, crashed, and burned?
I think there are two things. One is, uh, see, a lot of ego clashes happened during that time between me and my clients, between me and my vendors, and between me and my team members, right? And there were days we didn't. People who were talking every day for last 12 years, there were days we didn't talk. I mean, we spoke before this podcast that we talk about things which I've never spoken about, and I want to say that because I want people to realize that there is no magic bullet, and there's nobody who's like, I got it, I figured it out. Nobody figured it out. We all went through stuff. So major ego clashes with people because everybody, including me, maybe I was a mean guy to somebody else, and for somebody else he will be the mean guy to me.
Right.
But the one thing that I realized was, Avi, if you at this point in time, if you stop communicating, you're dead, 100% dead. That's just not going to happen. So you have to communicate. So we started, and money was not the saving criteria. If you give everybody 100% salary and pay your vendors and pay everything, office rent and everything, then everything was okay anyway. What's the problem? The problem was to be able to get on these uncomfortable conversations with people and say, I am here, I'm standing there. What if I gave up smoking, I gave up drinking? I'm like, I need to take care of myself. I can't get unwell. I need to be there 100%. Because I was building a lot of coaching clients and they were looking at me like I don't like the word, but they were looking at me like a guru. So I needed to be, I needed to be responsible for them. And at the same time, I realized that this is not the time to, to take even 1% chance with my health, because all those people are like, okay, we're standing by you because you're saying in 2 years everything will be okay. I can't say, okay, now I'm unwell, So I took all those changes for my health and everything, and I said, guys, it's going to happen. You have to trust me. Why? So the best part is, while you 100% don't know what's going to happen, you are telling people to trust you, right? And that's what we have to do. With that little glimmer of hope, you show everybody the sun, and then you go back and so you say, "Sabko sambhal liya, ab apne aap ko sambhalo," right? So that's what we did, and that was one. The other thing was 4 or 5 years ago. I remember this thing. I was woke up in the morning. I'm not an early riser. I sleep late and I get up early. So I'm not like not a 5 a.m. club. I get up at 5 a.m. because I have to for work. I don't do it automatically. Like I'm not a happy 5 a.m. riser. But anyway, I woke up in the morning and I told my wife, I said, you know what? This is about 4 years ago. I said, I'm feeling worried. I don't know how things will pan out. She's like, why? Anything happened at work? I said, no, I just don't know. I feel it's just, I don't know what's going to happen with digital and all of that in the morning. So I said, I need to work with people and create a mastermind, and this is what I'll do. And Ocean's 13, that movie and all of that. So my wife is used to me telling big Bollywood stories and fancy plans about my life. So she's used to that. She's like, do it. He always 1,000,000% supported me. Like she's always said, get on the next flight, go meet Gary Vee right now. I'm like, who's Gary? How does he even know me? So big things she's made me do. She said, do it. So I remember the first person I called was Siddharth. And I said, Siddharth, I don't think the next 10 years we can do anything alone. We have to do things together. We've not met a lot, but we met each other. We respect each other from afar. Let's create something together. Sid is like, I like your idea. Within 20 minutes, he set up a WhatsApp group, and it was, I think, called the Superheroes of Digital or something like that. And we created that group, and then we added Deepak and all of that. So then we met all these people. It was almost like Ocean 13, meeting new people from different places. Somebody's from Coimbatore, somebody's from Chennai, and there's one Punjabi guy lands up with these hoodies and all of that. So we all did. We were a total mismatch, and today we are like, we love each other. We're 9 of us.
Yeah.
Creating that mastermind and saying only one commitment we made. Every Sunday we'll meet and we will tell each other exactly what's working in our businesses. This I have never seen anywhere on the planet. I'm sure it's happening. I had not seen it till then. We open each other's dashboards, balance sheets, everything, and say, this is the money I made last week. These are the things that I did. This is working for me. And the other person has to be ready for the next call, in that call, to say, okay, this is what's working with me. So we bet two things have been happening. A, we work so hard to be able to belong to that club, because if you're doing it, I need to belong. And B, we want to help you. So I'll come up with new ideas and say, hey, you know what, Gaurav, that new Stream Deck thing that you're using, if you put a 8M mini with it, it allows you to control these things. And hey, this is the link to that. So everybody's working for each other. Because that thing was already there, I had another boat to jump on if things went bad here. So I was on two boats. And so therefore I was ahead of time because I was part of a mastermind group. And then obviously our relationship with you and Viraj also helped, the LSD. So we were together. So you don't feel alone, and you can go to somebody and say what's happening. You don't feel alone. So my biggest message to anybody who's listening is people who you feel little uncomfortable in terms of, see, I don't know anything about the gifting business and how you can make it a 100 crore business and how you can win awards from Pepsi. I have no idea even how to reach out to a Pepsi guy and say, do work with an Indian company. That's huge. So I want to surround myself with people who are doing things which I feel scared of.
Yeah.
And when you're in that circle, it's not only getting in that circle. In that circle, you have to prove yourself again and again by giving more value to that person. Open up a connection for your friend. Open up. You get somebody say, hey, can you speak on stage? You know what? Hey, can my friend Gaurav speak instead of me? That is how you build a place. And then, God forbid, someday you have to draw from that well. You call up, hey, Gaurav, can you help me? Asha, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So building these kind of relationships helped me tide through these times.
Yeah, no, I love that. And thank you for bringing on the aspect of collaboration, because again, I had a conversation with Sid, of course, 2 weeks ago. He was on the podcast as well. And he said that it was all Avi. He said, hadn't been for Avi, he said, none of the, masters would have happened. None of this would have happened. And of course, exactly the same thing happened with Viraj, you and I, where we went and we were, sitting and having drinks one day at the golf club, and you're like, let's do something together. And we're like, let's do something together. And we're like, LSD. And, so leadership, sales, and digital happens, of course, really looking forward to 2.0. But again, it takes an exceptional person with exceptional foresight to come into a space and look at people who are perhaps, competitors, but say, you know what, the world that we now live in, the future that we are now going to be existing in, is not about competition anymore. It's about collaboration. Let's make the magic happen. And of course, it's exceptional to see what's happening with the Masters. I'm sure we'll do some big things in LSD as well. Just waiting for you to take the trip back. But again, and a thought ahead of its time. People weren't even talking about. Now people are saying, "Acha, let's collaborate and let's pool our resources." And I don't want to have an establishment. You bring the people. This person brings the resources. This guy brings the money. Blah blah blah. Now collaboration is big, but you were seeing this 2 years before. And again, I would just go out and say that's exceptional foresight, and one of the really big things that I see in you as well. So
thanks, Gaurav.
Coming back to one of the points on the pandemic as well, and you've obviously not been able to spend too much time previously with the girls, and I mean both your daughters and your wife. And I recall you mentioning how you need to be doing more of this, and you were operating in forget two different continents. It's two different continents on different parts of the world, right? So how's that been? I mean, of course I know the last 15 months and all have been great because you've all been together. You're all in Vancouver, Canada. But how is it like for people to operate with those? And you're such an emotional, close person to the family. How has it been, or how was it for you prior to the pandemic? Just having, your wife and kids there, you here, and of course, yes, there were trips and all of that. But how really was that for you?
So Gaurav, you know what? Thanks for asking that, because a lot of people have, including our mutual friend Kira, said write a book about it, because only 20,000 people in the world are going to read it, but they really want to know how to make this work. So the thing was that I don't know. See, you don't know. In hindsight, things are 2020. Steve Jobs said, "Piche dekho, the dots connect." So aage to nobody knows. So my wife has been my childhood sweetheart, and I've always she knows that I even now she can do whatever she wants if she to make her happy, and she gives me 110% back. I can do whatever. You ask me tomorrow, let's go to Grant Cardone event. I'll say yes. I don't need to ask anybody at home. And that's unheard of freedom or, understanding that, I have. Touch wood. So with that, she fell in love with Vancouver. She said, I love this place. The girl should be born here, all of that. So I said, yeah, sure. Of course it should. I did not think of the practical consequences when I said yes. I came here, we were here. I took my first flight back. It's fine. I'll be there for a while. I'm missing the girls. I'll come back. And then when it started happening, like I'm needed like every week back, and then I'm missing school rehearsals here, and I'm missing those. Oh, you have to go for a wedding, but I'm not there with my wife, or then I was feeling torn between two families. Then I was like, this is not. And I love my parents like a 4-year-old kid. I need to hug them every day. I need to say I love you to them all the time. So I'm that emotional with them, and I'm like, I don't want. Why do I need to choose between both of them? And my mom and my wife get along like a house on fire. So there's no problem over there. So why did I create this own? So then I said, did I create this own problem by telling my wife, yeah, you do what you want? Because she asked me, should we do this? And I said, yes, you must do it. But then I said, and I asked my friends, I asked my family, and I'm like, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? Because I love my work as much as I love my family and people. And I felt guilty saying that, but I do love my work as much as I love my family. नहीं काम पैसा होता है, पैसा family से ऊपर नहीं आता. नहीं, I don't look at it that way. I said वो पैसा भी India is the only place जहाँ दिवाली होती है. दिवाली में लक्ष्मी जी की पूजा होती है. पैसा ही होता है ना. लक्ष्मी जी पैसा दो हमारे को, so I can take care of my parents and my family. So this is equally important. So if this is equally important, I want it all. मुझे वो हिंदी में कहते हैं मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलेगा, मुझे मुकम्मल जहां चाहिए. So my best well-wishers, my dad, my father-in-law is a great, sort of a guide to me. And he said, right now your focus is your work has to continue. And some of my friends said, "Tu दो boats में जा रहा है, you'd crash." I said, but I don't know how to jump on one. Some people said, my father-in-law said, in the army, जो सामने होता है पहले उसको सॉल्व करते हैं. So I kept on doing it. If there is no way out, just keep doing it. They will. So if there is love on every side, this is in hindsight. My mom and dad, no love lost. My wife, no love lost. My kids, no love lost. Hopefully, they don't blame me later. But so far, everything is good. With all of that, my team, no love lost. In fact, they were happy because I'm not a boss who's on their head all the time. I'm traveling all the time, so they're okay. And then I made them co-founders and directors because I needed them to take care of the company and all that. So they've been happy with that. So now looking back, I feel again, it came to the same two factors. You have to love the people you're with, and you have to have constant communications. That am I doing the right thing? Am I being away from you? Is it okay? Am I being a good husband? Are you still okay with me? My daughter's like, sweetheart, I'm really sorry, but your dads are there always with you. Are you okay? And I know you feel bad. And every time I go, that you have a tear, I have tears. It's not good. Someday I'll make it happen. But I don't know when. But maybe by the time you're 15. So I had those conversations, but with no way out. But then this pandemic happened and everything became online, and now we're all together in the most blissful 15 months. But what I'm trying to say is, looking back, when you have no answer, just trust, love, and have communication. Unfortunately, if there was a family where there was no communication, they would have broken. So these are risks that you should rather avoid. But in my case, I think it worked out.
Yeah, and I'm sure, but though you miss your parents now because they probably haven't been able to see you in some time.
100%.
Based on
Every
the
day.
bond that you had there, I guess that's something. But yeah, hopefully, we'll be coming back to some kind of normalcy soon and travel will open. Canada, of course, has been exceptionally hard during the pandemic in terms of opening its borders and all of that as well. So at your core, you've always been a problem solver. I mean, you did in your hotel business, you knew what worked there and you scaled that. You've done in the digital business as well. You're now doing that in the space of education, coaching, and training as well. So what are the problems, or one of the problems that right now you've set your sights on and you're picking up and targeting next? Because like I said, you've been exceptional in that domain all through your life.
See, Gaurav, I'm only now looking at it from the lens that this is how to solve a problem. I'm only now reading business books, and I see 21-year-old kids who've read every business book and they're following every formula, and they're going to be 10 times more successful than most people we know. I unfortunately did not follow a system of coaching and learning. I was not a good student in school. Till the 10th, I was an exceptional student. First two, three, four, five. After that,
Mm-hmm.
things, when the separation with the family happened or whatever, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
things just. So I was not a good student in school, not a good student in college, but I always wanted to act. I wanted to tell stories, and so I can now also I can close a deal. I know 100% deals, almost 100% I
True
can
that.
close a deal because I'm a good storyteller.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
very, very emotional because I was an overweight person. So I cannot be rude to anybody. I understand when people are going through pain and emotion, and I pick up on pain, emotion. I'm empathetic that way. So only now at the age of 44, I'm realizing that there is a value in structured education. At the same time, what do I already have? I have empathy with me, and I can tell good stories. I can have a good conversation. So with those two things, I am saying, what can I do now? So at the core, like, this conversation has all been about me being as candid as possible. I am, what I'm trying to do, and I did not understand. I'm still trying to understand what is this purpose, because something which is used in marketing often loses its charm for me. Purpose is a beautiful word, but every coach, purpose, purpose, purpose. I don't want to talk about purpose anymore. So it's became like that for me. But at
Yeah.
the core of it, purpose means that you have to have something that you want to do. So for me, I feel an average Indian wants to make 3 to 5 lakh rupees a month take home, can change their lives. They can take international holidays. Kids can go to. It's a game changer. But they're so scared of seeing that 5 lakh rupees ka sapna. It's unbelievable. I feel with what I have learned on the digital marketing front and all of that, I can help lots of people come to that level of income and go beyond that. So that is the problem I'm solving, to be able to help them think. Once they think, yes, maybe I can do it, then to be able to give them a school. A school has got Sangat. Sangat is discipline. Sangat is company. So
Right.
then give them a school where they're like, oh, you know what? Now I've come to the gym. I can't do it. Now you go to the gym with 4 bodybuilders. They will make sure you have your body's aching by the time. So
100%.
choose that I want to have a body like Ranveer Singh, or I want to have a body like Sunil Shetty. Then hang out with 4 Sunil Shetties in that school of Sunil Shetty making. And then eventually you will become Sunil Shetty. So how do I make sure? Because I'm lazy. I've been lazy in my life. See, I'm not lazy in terms if you see my ritual, but I'm lazy in my head because I know I can get back to my old days any day. Life and God have not given me opportunities to be lazy, but I know I can. And so therefore I see the laziness in other people. So I feel what they should do is they should immediately put themselves in a company of people where they cannot not succeed.
True
So
that.
where will that happen? That happened in school. So that's why we created the Internet Moguls of the World School, where
Yeah.
we say people get 3 things. Discipline, because I say when people went to school, the most indisciplined people like me still went to school, maths ka class kiya, homework, social studies, science, सब कुछ किया because there was discipline.
True.
गर्मी लग रही, ठंड लग रही थी, गर्मी लग रही थी, but बस आती थी सुबह, जाना था discipline.
Yeah.
There was timetable to be able to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so structure tha. So that was the second thing. And third, there was community, there were friends, so you could go through. So these are 3 things that are missing in an entrepreneur's life today: structure, discipline,
Right.
and
True.
community. So
Right.
that's what we said. We create a school and have fun in school
Yeah.
and break through people's fears and also talk about some structure to make money. So that's, I don't know if I'm solving a problem. The one thing I want to solve is I don't want people to feel scared, because I don't like feeling scared. We all feel scared, nervous, anxious, and all of that.
Yeah.
But not to make 5 lakh rupees a month. I mean, that should not be the your level of being scared. Be scared of making 1 million a month or whatever. 5 lakh rupees ka jo fear hai, I want to remove that. So that's what I'm solving, right?
Yeah. No, exceptional. And I've been having conversations with some of your students, and Ajay, etc. Who've been GBA students, and have been, and vice versa. We see a lot of your people coming into our communities as well. And one thing they always say is that the value that Avi delivers is again 10x, in every possible aspect, and super. And just wishing more and more success to you, and I'm sure you'll attract a lot more people into that community as well, and have some amazing things happen there
I
as
learned
well.
from you, Gaurav. I see you. You see you 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago. When we were having conversations, you were not speaking on stage. You were not doing or 2 years ago, not your webinar, all of that. The pandemic hit. You got your green screen. You got your camera. You got your webinar equipment, and you're like, I know what I want. And you like, drop off a hat. Abhi, let's go. We're going to Grant Cardone event. These are not these are not cheap events. They're 5, 10, $15,000 tickets. You're like, I have to go because I'm going to learn something. And you went there and you had your notepad with you. You're taking notes. So I learned a lot from you, man. Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, it's mutual, because again, picked up so many things from you. I mean, even though the insights when I was starting, I had no idea how to use the power of video and the micro video piece. I didn't even have an Instagram account when the pandemic hit. Okay, I had no IGTV, nothing. And I'm like, okay, let me check out what Avi's doing and replicate, because truly, I think, and you were very, very generous with your advice, both to Viraj and I, where you said, okay, let's get on a call. Let me tell you what I'm doing. Let me tell you what's changing. And again, exceptional skill, because not many people, actually go ahead and do that. So again, thank you for that. On the subject of learning, which of course you're so big on as well, who are some of the people that you're following at the moment? Who are your coaches and mentors at the moment? So let's hear a little bit about that as well.
See, the thing is, I am now very focused on trying to answer that question more. Like till 6 months or 1 year ago, I had nobody. I'm not following anybody, not because I like the story of Gautam Buddha and how he learned everything and left his. I like that story. I like story of Swami Vivekananda a little bit. I like Ranveer Alabadi, the YouTuber. I love this guy. I just love what he does. I've spoken to him many times. Yeah, there are many people who are my mentors who are, doesn't matter the age. I always tell Ranveer in every show, I'm giving you a shout out. I love you. And he says, whatever. So, but by far, the one person who stood the test of time is Gary Vee. Now with his NFT project and all of that, if you want to know what's happening in the future and how you should behave and everything, okay. Now the new person who I'm in love with is Patrick Bet-David. I don't know if you follow him, Valuetainment.
I haven't.
Check it out. By far, he says this is the best channel on entrepreneurship in the world. Can you imagine making such a big, bold promise and then living up to it? The guy is a legend. He is, I think he was ex-Iranian. He was Iranian. Now he's Iranian American. And now he's, I don't know, maybe a billionaire or not, whatever. He's made a lot of money, but that has never fascinated. I've never wanted to go to people who are billionaires or had Rolexes or whatever. But what fascinates me about him is he has an insurance company and he's got some 600 or 1,000 agents around the world. And all of them are selling for him. The way he scaled that business. And then he talks about every video of his gives so much value. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder you're not at that level, Avi. That's what it takes. Look at one video. Somebody's done research, then they've done something. And that 1 hour video on YouTube, like, oh my God. And I can go and talk. I tell 10 of my office people, you have to watch this or whatever. So I said, that, Avi, if you're not at that level, you know why you're not at that level. So then my thing is when I fall in love with somebody online, I need to speak to them. So I spoke to him, I interviewed him. In fact, my new book, which is coming out next month, which I've written with my daughters, he's given a recommendation at the back of the book that every entrepreneur should read this. So awesome. For everybody, he's my new favorite hero, Patrick Bet-David.
Wow. I'm definitely going to check that one out because the
name of the channel is Valuetainment.
Yeah. So you're a big guy on the one of Grant Cardone's core philosophy aspects, and that's about overcommit and overdeliver. And you make no excuses as well. So where does this really come from, and what brings in that that confidence and that assurity? Because many people will overcommit and they'll disappear. Okay, but I know, knowing you for all these years, when you make a commitment, and it might be a big claim, you're gonna show up and you're gonna make that happen. So where does that come from? Because that again is very, very rare.
I'll be honest. It comes from two things. It comes from making big commitments and not showing up in the past and realizing how rotten you feel, to be very honest. So I always wanted to be a nice guy and give it all. But then I became a nice guy, but I didn't give it all. So, and I felt rotten. And some people showed a mirror to my face, during my college days or whatever. Dude, you were supposed to, if you say, I'm going to be, in school, you were having parties and you were like, you're definitely coming. And there are 10 people who are coming. You're like, oh, these people are coming. You're telling, and then one person doesn't show up and, you're a really bad person for not doing that. So in college and all, I didn't take those things very seriously, but I realized that those people felt bad and it was not a good thing to do. And then my parents, my parents never said anything to me about anything. But when I didn't show up for other people, like, anything, somebody's not feeling good, somebody's not well, you lost your relative. They were like, seriously? Is this how we've raised you? That was one. And second was, my mom was an entrepreneur for the longest time as well. So my mom used to always do this. She was running a travel company and all the large Adidas and all of these large companies used to come and they used to continue coming to her because she used to make the best India tours happen for them. So she used to do this. Over deliver. She never looked at the bottom line, how much money she's making. She's like, I need to make sure this. So that I got from her. And plus, I don't know, my parents have always made me feel super, super special about myself. One story I want to tell you, Gaurav, and I want all your audiences to listen to this.
Please.
I had not once, couple of times I had a thing I love talking about dying, and I think it's very fascinating. It's scary and fascinating at the same time. So I read a lot of books around dying and what will happen and all that. So
Mhm.
I had a dream, or I had a I wrote down in my I don't know what, something happened in the months where I
Right.
realized, maybe I was daydreaming or I was night dreaming, but I was that I've died and gone to heaven. This is the theory that I have. I go there, and the God secretary receives you and says, "Oh, good morning, Mr. Arya, welcome." And so I'm sitting on a nice couch, and he knows I like good couches. I don't like
Mhm.
chairs; they're very uncomfortable. I
Mhm.
like a good
Mhm.
couch, and I'm sitting on
Mhm.
a couch, and she gives me my favorite coffee. And you know how coffee becomes so cold and you don't like it and you can't heat it up. So, but she gave me a coffee which is hot throughout my waiting period. So I'm like, these people know how to take care of people. She's like,
Lovely.
this is your iPad and there's a big TV. And so there's
Mhm.
a movie that God wants you to watch, and then he'll be ready for the meeting. Like, you go to a nice dentist office. I'm like, fine. I put
Mhm.
on the movie. It's my life story from the day I was born to now, and how I met Gaurav and Viraj and A and B and C and everybody, except she had put a heart monitor over here. Everything that I said and how it made the other person feel. Oh my God, man! If Avi is saying everything is possible, he made so I feel euphoric in my heart through that monitor. If I said somebody to something, "Arey, chhod yaar, tere se nahi hoga," and that person seriously made them feel small, I felt that as well.
Wow.
So the plus and minus of everything that I made other people feel was going. My heart was going up and down, like euphoric and at the same time sad. And by
Yeah.
the end of it, there was such a mixture of emotions. And by the movie finishes, and the secretary comes and says, God is now ready to see you. I walk
Mhm.
into that room, there's only a white light, there's no God. But because he doesn't need
Mhm.
to say anything to me, though that heart monitor and that emotions have already told me where I stand in life, based on what I've done to others. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that one instance in my life, I think I'm like, I don't want to fail in that test. I want to have
Right.
more of such moments when people say, you know what, Avi did this for me, because that's what's going to give me a good rate on the heart monitor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's sort of a crazy thing that I refer to
Like,
in my head.
love that. Like, and just thank you for sharing that. Because I think one thing that the world really needs a lot more of today is it's just genuine people who mean what they say. Our like based on what happened last year, and I'll talk about the coaching fraternity, the training fraternity first. I think what has really happened is that there's a mega trust deficit. People have really taken people up a path saying that, oh, there is the light at the end of the tunnel, and you will be, this and that by the time this is done. And it could be 3 months later, a year later, I mean, past the duration. After that, people, they just feel cheated. They feel that, is this what I signed up for? They're like, what was promised to me, and where I've been left, it's unfortunately left, a big void in people's lives as well. And again, thank you for doing what you do. And sometimes I hear this a lot, and people come and say that there is a certain set of people, a certain set of coaches, trainers, who've now come into the business, and they're fairly well established in their domain, and that gives them an unfair advantage. I'm like, excuse me. I said, बहुत जब हमने शुरुआत की थी, when we started, our own company, मतलब धक्के खाए हैं बहुत, ऑटो में मतलब घूम घाम के deliveries की हैं, all of that. So again, it happened because of our value, it happened because of our culture, it happened because of our beliefs, right? And cliche as it may sound, it happened because of our why. Where we said, boss, commitment दे दी तो करना ही करना है.
Yeah.
And I just feel that there is a new set of people that have mushroomed up, and they just thought it's an opportunity. अच्छा अभी धंधा नहीं चल रहा तो coaching में घुस जाते हैं, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think what's going to happen, and then hence my next question would be in terms of your thoughts on the future of coaching and training, especially in India, because there has been this explosion in coaches and trainers. And then obviously, then a lot of people come back and say, hey, this is not really working. This is not what I anticipated. Both sides, the coaches, the trainers, and even the students. So your thoughts on the future of coaching and training in India?
I don't know where I read it. Maybe when I was in the travel industry, uh, less than 50% of people who make a trip from Delhi to go to Missouri go to Chandigarh and come back. Right? People don't have the gumption. Human beings don't have the gumption or a strong enough why to be able to go the whole 9 yards. When the best way to test any industry is to when it goes through its downs. So if people are ready to weather those storms, then they're welcome to be part of the victory club. But everybody will come in when they see people making money. And now more than money, what's happening in the coaching industry, Gaurav, is fame. Instantly, you this thing gives you authority. You put a mic on
Right.
and you're
Right.
talking on stage, automatically people want to take a selfie with you. I don't know why that this has become the whole thing. So now everybody's like, oh my God, this guy's a speaker. And everybody wants to become a speaker on stage. Why? I don't know. You don't even have a message or you don't want to do anything, but everybody wants to
So
become
true.
a speaker.
So true.
So that शुरू में हर चीज ऐसे एक there's a sheen, but the sheen wears out, and the people say that
Yeah.
when you become a speaker, you realize, okay, I'm speaking, I'm inspiring people, and at the same time, I don't have money for my next flight home. So
Yeah.
then, do you still want to do it?
Mm.
And so that I think it's a natural process of things for everybody to come and go. And the good people, it's going to be a filter. The good people will stay back. The people who may be good but don't have the resources or the gumption right now will go back, and then they'll come back. If they
Right.
really like it, they'll come back, because everybody has a voice. Everybody is a coach. Everybody has the power to teach somebody.
Love
But
that.
like anything
So
else in
true.
business, it's a long-term process. So if people look at it as a long-term process and say, I always tell coaches, if you have a parallel business, don't stop it.
True.
This will take time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once it starts taking off, then slowly take your foot off the pedal on the other one. Don't leave and come here, because what if it doesn't take off?
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry, one
Thank
more
you.
thing. I tell coaches, don't teach something which is profitable. What Gaurav Bhagat is teaching, or what, copy somebody else.
Yeah.
Your mess is your own mess. If you're bullied as a child and you can help people get over bullying, teach that. If you're living in a
Very true.
joint family of 20 people
100%.
and you know how to
100%.
take care of those people in a 20, and tomorrow, teach men and women who are getting married into joint family, tell them become a joint family peace coach,
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Your mess is your message. Don't think that this is not cool. Whatever you're doing, you have to be 1 year ahead of people. When you were in grade 8 and going into grade 9, one senior, if you gave you books or whatever, you're like, oh my God, that guy was your mentor. He would do everything for you. So you just have to be 1 year ahead of people in the curve, and you can be a coach. Don't try to look for, you know, uh, money coach or manifestation coach or whatever's working. I'll do that. Do what
True that.
has worked for you in life.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And I think that's, again, something based on even on this conversation, I totally resonate with. And it takes me back to a conversation which happened maybe about 2.5 years ago, when I was contemplating even coming into this space as well. I remember going and meet Paritosh, and Paritosh was, of course, at BNI, and he'd kind of set up that. He was like the networking guy. He told me three things. He said, dude, whatever you plan to get into, he said, are you a D plus C plus, a D plus C, I think is what he said. And I threw in the I later. And I said, okay, what's the D and the C? He said, D is the depth. Do you have the depth? Do you have the experience? Do you have those things that you bring to the table? Do you do those things or not? And I said, what I mean, sales is my thing. I've been selling since I was 6 years old. I mean, this is something that works. He says, great. He said, do you have, the certifications? Do you have the knowledge that you will bring? Is it, stuff that will work for people? And I said, yeah, of course, Grant Cardone. I mean, he's proven it over 36 years, and, him and I coming together will definitely help. So he spoke of the D and the C. And I think the element that I threw in due course was also the I, which is about intention. So I think when you have a coach who has a D plus C plus I think then you have someone who is, out there to transform the industry. And yes, as you rightly said, don't get swayed by, what is in and trending, because then you will never stand for something. And I think that's very, very important as well.
100%. Like when I said micro videos, Gopal was the one who helped me coin micro videos. He said, you stand for this. I said, are you sure? Because when you want to stand for a niche, you feel scared because you feel you're going to leave out on the other opportunities, which, by the way, are anyways not coming to you.
Yeah.
But the day I said micro video and I started announcing it on stage, everything changed. So stick for one, go to your micro niche and stick to that.
100%. So now we're coming to the 1 hour mark. So maybe last 2 or 3 questions. I'm really, really enjoying this conversation. I know we could go on for longer. We have, when we sit down and discuss LSD as well. I mean, we wouldn't know when it started and when it ended. Let's talk a little bit about, and again, I want to pick your brain on this because you've been fantastic on this. The core secret of managing your teams virtually. You're sitting right now in Canada. You have teams in Asia, different parts of the country as well. So how is it that you've been able to get them to, stay productive, manage these teams virtually, and keep the productivity up and growth in place like you have been? Because that, I think, is a true feat that many would love to know about.
Gaurav, firstly, the thing is that it's not been easy at all. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong because, people have them. It's not only managing a team virtually, it's managing a team virtually through these unprecedented times where they themselves don't know. Some companies are giving 3 times the salary to my employees because they want them. And everybody else is saying you can't get anything, hang on to what you are hanging on to. So then it doesn't, again, it goes back to my same thing that I've learned in my life. It is not about the money only. It is about communication. So these are uncomfortable conversations to have, but I have conversations with people that I want you to stick with me. This is what I can give you now. Next year, what do you want? So we have something called a dream chart. Everybody fills up a dream chart. What do you want? Somebody says, I want a trip to Dubai for my mom. Fine, done. I'll give it to you after 12 months. Is that okay? Yeah, fine. The other person
Lovely.
says, no, I want a title. The third person says, I want to become a co-founder. We made two co-founders in the last 1 year. My dad was like, are you crazy? Nobody gives away their company like that. I said, what are you saying? They're giving away their heart for me during
Yeah.
this time. And yeah, I have to give, they have, I spoke to their moms, I spoke to their dads, your
Yeah.
son is making the wrong decision, tell him to stick with me. So you had to go through granular and all of that to be able to make it work. But the most important thing is, I genuinely love these people. I genuinely love I don't love them like I love my daughters or my wife. It doesn't, oh my God. But I genuinely love them. If somebody's not well today, I'm concerned. I want to know what his report is and I want him to be fine. And I want him to be the one change, it took me 1 year. But the one change that is helping me right now is, Gaurav, every system that I'm building into my company is that I want to make like we have a 9-star rating. A customer has to give us 9 out of 10 minimum. Otherwise, we're not happy. I'm building that. It's very difficult, but I'm building that for my team as well. I want my team to be equally happy with me, right?
Wow.
And I used to be earlier on, I used to be scared. If I tell them that you have to be happy means they will ask for more money. And I used to be scared. Now I'm not scared because uh, if it's more money, then we'll work out a way of making money together, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is not always about money. It's about many other things. It's just going out there and saying it has to be a win-win-win, which means your clients win, your team wins. And our team wins for me was such a cliched thing. Team wins, team wins. हम पैसे दे रहे हैं, सब कुछ हो रहा है. No, 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 no. It has to be more than that. So individualized compensation plans which normally are left to HR because you don't want to have those you know difficult conversations is what I
Correct.
have done in the last 1 year.
Love that.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Like I
obviously
said, takes
crazy
a lot of
sleep
heart.
timings. Hmm?
Yeah, it takes a lot of heart to actually, do that. And again, it's a conversation that I've been having with my teams as well, where I'm saying that, by the 25th of December 22, we'll actually have let go most of our stake in our companies to our employees, and everyone will have a stake, including even the person who's manning the security at the gate. So,
Nice,
that's my vision as well. So awesome. Good to hear,
awesome.
that from your perspective as well. Let's just quickly talk about, like I said, concluding maybe 3 questions. The future of social media in India. We see a lot of guys like Niriyal now who are talking about being indistractable, disconnecting, switching off. Where do you see things really going on this space? In the months and years ahead.
I think it's just a beginning. Social media people only when I think social media is now only 2 years old. After the pandemic, people woke up to social media. Before that, people didn't know what it was. There were very few
Yeah.
people. Social media is not only looking at other people's TikTok videos. Social media is being able to say, hey, you know what? I saw Gaurav and Avi's interview, and here I went on Zoom and I clicked on Gaurav's Lacoste black t-shirt, and it showed a price with a link, or Gaurav's link to Amazon. And Gaurav gets an affiliate commission. I can buy it. And I like the chairs at the back. I bought 2 chairs also by them. So that's social commerce. We're far away from doing. You want to buy my hat while I'm talking to people? Hover over the mouse and you'll be able to see where this hat is from and you'll buy it from my affiliate link. So I'll also get a commission. So now when I do a podcast with Gaurav, we're all making money and people are shopping. I see that happening because because commerce is not even started yet to that level. We're showing ads, which is, I feel, showing ads. I promise you, Gaurav, in 2 years, people are going to be or 5 years, people are going to be laughing that ads was what was made social media big. It has this content is not being monetized. What are we going to do if this content, say if it was part of an inner circle course, that part of we would monetize, or I would say, okay, here buy my USB cable here, buy link now at the end of the podcast, or buy my book. But what I'm saying is everything that is available over here on your screen, my screen, while I'm walking, you can click on everything and buy. That is what social media will be, and that's where I feel things are sort of going to go to. And then this new metaverse thing, when where your thing, you get into a new world. Now, yesterday I was reading this report. Many countries have classified information on many things, but these metaverses, you get into the metaverse of a country, there nothing is classified. Everything is accessible. So we are going to go there right now. Like my daughter, my wife is an army officer's daughter. She's bringing up both my girls to be very, very, very sort of, you know, uh, right with their money. They don't spend money just like that. But my younger daughter she bought $40 worth of skin for, Fortnite, that game. Now,
Yeah.
why did
Yeah.
she buy that skin? Because she wanted to look cooler in front of her other friends. Because, I've got this, you haven't got it. Then in Fortnite, in that game, there's a giraffe. If you get the giraffe, you like the cool person in that metaverse. You take off your glasses and nobody cares about that giraffe. Now,
True.
so inside those ecosystems, what I'm wearing, like for example, if I was wearing those, Nike, the Air Jordans, it's like, hey, some
Mhm.
cool man. Oh,
Mhm.
but now I can be cool inside that metaverse by buying those gifts and purchases. So all the companies are coming into those metaverses and doing
Right.
all of that. So social media is not even started. It's going to be
Yeah.
huge.
Wow. Love that. And come and think of it, you're right. And again, like so you see things before everyone else does. So I'm sure, like your protege, Gary V, you guys are on, ahead, like I said, ahead of the curve. So thank you so much, for sharing on that one as well. A question on, coaching and training, especially, the online piece, which has happened obviously, immensely in the last 18 months now. But people have also started to miss, as Viraj would say, the H to H connect, right? The human to human connect. So live physical trainings. I mean, I'm at the GBA today, and we haven't had a training here for 17 months. It's where my digital team and other people from the office are actually sitting out of. So, your thoughts on the return to live, the future in terms of live versus virtual versus hybrid? Where do you see all this going, really?
I think, see, the pandemic has proved to people that 100% live is possible. So with that, it's opened up a new dimension of people who are saying I can do more. So you can have one mega event and 12 follow-up events. So I think it's going to be a hybrid of that. So one
Mm.
event which is going to be wow, like human beings are meeting face to face. Wow, this guy
Yeah,
really exists. And
yeah,
then there will be people who don't exist because I see robots coming in very soon that, there will be, oh, Gaurav doesn't exist. There was a news 1 month ago. There's this social media account of a character who doesn't exist, and that person just got to have $1 or $2 million deal to support a brand. There's no person. So this is also going to happen. When we go
yeah,
there, we're going to be like, hey,
yeah,
there's no human being called Gaurav. He's just an avatar who I've met online. He happens to be real, and he's great when he does webinars. We buy his courses,
yeah.
but he doesn't exist in real life. So and
Wow.
all that is already happening.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I love how you said hybrid. So possibly, one large event, and then obviously, putting people into an ecosystem of support where it can actually happen digitally, where people don't have to make the trip or don't have to, bear the costs of, everything that is
People
associated
want
with
to get
travel as
away
well.
from their spouses, from their everyday family life, from their kids, from the madness of the home, saying, I want to get
Yeah,
away and 3 days not be home and be a responsible adult. I want to go and
yeah,
party with Gaurav
yeah,
in Vegas. And that's why I'll come for the event. All the
yeah.
learning I could have got virtually also.
100%, 100%. Agree completely on that one. Um, So yeah, when do we see you back in India? It's been a while since you've been away, and when are we doing the next version of LSD 2.0? I know Viraj has the same question in his mind as well. So when are we seeing you back, and when does the next version of LSD
So I
happen?
think today in the morning there was an announcement saying that the flights are opening up on the 27th. And then maybe 29th October is my birthday. Maybe I celebrate it in Delhi with you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to that one as well. And concluding question, which I always ask everyone who comes on to the Smashed Bashed Yet Not Dashed podcast, is this: so your advice to people of the world, who truly have been, smashed and bashed, not only in the last few months, but perhaps over even extended durations, and they can't really figure out a way forward. They don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So your advice to, people who fall into that bracket.
So, firstly, thank you for saying that people who are going through a crisis even before this, because this became a universal crisis. So we all could relate to each other's pain. But there were people who were going through a crisis before that, and both those poor people, their worlds had shattered even before that, and we were not empathetic towards them. So everybody's included in this, a bad time, if we can.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I feel, see, according to me, the best thing in the world is to get a job, right? Because I think if you want to be like Gaurav Bhagat, go and send a micro video to Gaurav. Tell him what you liked about his last three podcasts, what you like about his vision. What is that one thing Gaurav keep talking about, 10x your life? So that Gaurav knows that you've genuinely taken time to listen to him. Then apply to him through a video, say, hey, this is my family, this is what I do, and all of that. I want to apply for a job. First 2 months, I'll work for free. After that, this is the position I'm looking at. And by the way, I know your company is growing this. Here are two positions I can fill, and this is what I can do for you. People on the other side, business people, are always looking for the right people. But the right people are saying, hey, you know what? I'll send you my resume. You take out the time to fit it into your system. If you give a busy entrepreneur something to think about, you're never going to get a reply. People don't have time to think. So therefore, fit a video into that person's life and say, this is what I can do for you, and get into a job that you love doing. And how do you find out a job that you love doing? By working for an entrepreneur who you want to be like. Like I love Patrick Pat David. If I could take time off, I would love working for him. So if I can work for him, whatever he gives me, I'll work. And then I'll figure it out from there. Don't try to say, you know, but my 7 years experience, Gaurav, please try to fit me here. I mean, I should get this much money. No, I want to be just surrounded by Gaurav so that that sheen rubs off on me. Do that. In 2 years' time, you will become 25-30% of what that person is. Not only will he give you opportunities, you will know how to start your business from scratch to be exactly like him. Then go ahead and start your business. And getting jobs is not easy. And don't call it a job because people for some reason find a job demeaning or lower than entrepreneurship. I think it's the best thing where you're learning from somebody you love and you're getting paid for it. So I think a job is the way to go in back into the market.
Invaluable. Like, thank you for that. And again, a very, very different perspective from what we hear a lot of people actually saying out there. Where can people find you? Where can they reach you? I'm sure that, of course, everyone knows Avi Arya, but there are some people who may not know you yet.
No.
Where can they find you?
Ask Avi Arya. Yeah. So my Instagram handle is Ask Avi Arya. A few of us have, we put good content there. We have some interviews and all of that. So Ask Avi Arya on Instagram is where I'm at. And, just pushing myself to start TikTok very soon, which I will.
Lovely. So in conclusion, thank you, my friend. Really, really appreciate you taking out this time. We've gone for more than an hour, and I know exactly how busy you are and the pressure that you have on you. So appreciate you coming out here and doing this today. Ladies and gentlemen, Avi Arya, one of the most exceptional people that I have come across. Okay, and someone who truly has been ahead of his time. You've seen that in the conversation we've had today as well. Follow him on his Insta channel, Ask Avi Arya. Look out for his YouTube channels, which is again got some great stuff as well. And of course, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll put some content in the description of this YouTube video and the podcast links as well. Thank you, Avi, once again. Like I said, exceptional and always great having a conversation with you.
Thank you, Gaurav. I learned so much from you, and thank you for giving me your time.